All right, here we are on the discussion segment of Daybreak Nigeria, and on this very segment we'll be talking on youth and leadership challenges in Nigeria. And joining us virtually from Lagos is a banker, author, and leadership coach, an Ekiti-born, professional, Mr. AKIN OLUWADARE Jr. Mr. AKIN OLUWADARE, thank you for joining us on Daybreak Nigeria this morning.
Thank you. Good morning, and I say good morning to my fellow Ekiti kingsmen and women. I'm glad to be in your midst this morning.
And now it's Lagos. How's Lagos?
Lagos is good. We are there.
Okay, thank God.
The center of excellence.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, yes, let's now focus on our subject of discussion, youth and leadership challenges in Nigeria. Looking at our youths of today, do you think they are really prepared to take over the mantle of leadership going by what we're experiencing in the country?
Yes, good morning, and let me say good morning once again to Ekiti people, the state I love so much. Talking of youth and leadership, we usually talk about tomorrow, but I have a slightly different approach to the leadership question. And that is why I usually look at the followership side. The question we should ask ourselves is, are youths even taking position today before we begin to think of tomorrow? I would say the answer is no. So, and that's why I like to approach it from the bottom up side, talking of the followership question. We need to look at today to ask whether the youth are actually taking position today before we begin to talk of tomorrow. Whether the youth have the capacity to take charge of today, the answer is yes. But are the youth actually taking charge of today before we begin to think of tomorrow? I would say the answer is no. So maybe in the course of the discussion, we can expatiate more and get more views with respect to that.
Okay, thank you. Talking about youths of today, a lot of people do complain about them, their attitude. You see a lot of them who are into, crime, who are into internet fraud and all of that. What do you think are the factors that could be, attributed to these?
Well, many things. When you talk of, let's just go a little to management. I'm sure that you are familiar with Maslow's theory of motivation. What are those things that inspire any average human being? A youth that is not able to meet his social needs, that is not able to meet his economic needs, he is bound to go for anything that comes. So what we need to begin to look at is what obtains in the society compared to an average society anywhere in the world. When the youths are not meeting their needs, anything that comes, they are easily attracted and they go into crime. Many things lead to this, which we all know. People are not able to fend for themselves. Like now, 6 months down the line, ASU is on strike and students are at home. So when you begin to look at many things that are wrong with our society, it's an all-encompassing problem. It's not something you can isolate. Everything comes together. So what leads youth to crime are the absence of the norms that should be in an average society.
Okay, if you cast your mind back to the yesteryears when the likes of Obafemi Awolowo, Azikiwe, and Tafawa Balewa took over the mantle of leadership, some people said the population and a lot of other factors were not as, upgraded or kind of expanded as we have now. That was why they were able, to excel, and took over the mantle of leadership. Would you agree with that?
Yes, completely agree with that. I hear that comparison a lot, and I do say that it's not a fair comparison. In the days of Chief Awolowo, the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa's, Nnamdi Azikiwe's, how many were they? Just like you said earlier, population. What was the level of competition there? That time, all you needed to do was just to be committed to your studies in school, come out with good grades, and everything is fine. You graduate, a car is waiting for you, a job is waiting for you, everything is made. But now, how many of these things are available for the youth? So I would say it's not a fair comparison when we begin to compare with the days of old. Now let's even look at it. What qualifies a man or a woman to be a youth in Nigeria? The latest policy policy has adjusted the rate that qualifies you to be a youth to between 18 and 29, 15 and 29 rather. And Africa Charter says between 18 and 35. So what we even define as a youth in Nigeria is already lower than what the Africa Charter says. So many people that even call themselves youth in Nigeria do not qualify to be youths. The age has been reviewed downwards to between 15 and 29. Now you see a 29-year-old child or guy or a lady who is still in the university struggling to graduate. In the days of old, how old was Chief Awolowo when he took mantle of leadership in the Western Europe region when he was a premier? How old was Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe? They were in their 30s when they fought for independence. As at that time, what did you need to do? You just needed to go to secondary school, have good grades, come out of secondary school, look for admission to university. Before you graduate, a job is waiting for you. So if you go back to the theory of Maslow's theory of motivation I spoke about earlier, as at that time, if already as you are graduating, a job is waiting for you, a new car is waiting for you, you are able to get married and start rearing your family. What else? You can think about leadership. But a young man who is struggling at 35 is probably still living with his father and mother. They are still feeding him. He's talking of going for master's degree. He doesn't have the money. He's still depending on the parents to fund the master's education. How do you expect that kind of youth to take leadership? So we need to even begin to define who is a youth. That question must be addressed before we even begin to think of who qualifies to be a youth. A lot of people that call themselves youths do not qualify to be youths. But if you are not able to meet your social and economic needs, you cannot begin to talk of leadership. And that's why I said earlier, we need to begin to look at the followership question. It's a big problem. You know, we talk of leadership every day as the major problem we have in Nigeria. I agree, leadership is a very big problem in Nigeria. But you need to know also that leadership is the problem of today, but followership is the problem of today and tomorrow. Why did I say that? It is a follower of today that will become a leader tomorrow. These leaders cannot drop from heaven. So if we not begin to look at either your niece or nephew in secondary school, how is he or she faring? What is his orientation? Who are his motivators? Is he motivated by those Yahoo boys that will live in January without any visible means of livelihood and come home in December and is riding a G-Wagon? Is that the kind of person that motivates that your niece that is still in secondary school? So if we do not address it from the lower level, to begin to look at who are the followers that will become leaders of tomorrow. The problem we are dealing with tomorrow did not start today, did not start today. Whatever challenges we're having today in terms of leadership question in Nigeria was because of our actions or inactions years back. So if we want to begin to talk of leadership tomorrow, we should first begin to address followership today, so that we are sure that the youth we are grooming to take leadership tomorrow, they are equipped, they have the right orientation, and they know what to ask for. If you do not know what to ask your leaders for, they will give you whatever they think you need. But an informed youth, an informed follower who knows what to get from an ideal leadership, who asks questions. If things are not going well, that youth will challenge the status quo. But if anything that comes to take, if a youth does not know what he actually qualifies to be a youth, we are not talking of leadership. We are just glossing over the youth.
No, okay, now you talked about earlier, you talked about the fact that before we should start describing youths as leaders of tomorrow, you said there was a question that needed to be asked. Are they actually ready to even take up the challenges of today to face it headlong? Yes, looking at our youths, we've talked about the vices they engage in and a lot of other things. What do you think are needed to really ensure that our youth are really groomed properly for the task ahead? And do you even think the youths are ready to do this?
I'll say the youths are ready, just that the right orientation is not in place. Leadership is everything, but I usually say that we need to address the followership before we talk of leadership. If leadership question is addressed, if things are going well, the youths have the capacity. The youths are excelling in all other forms of endeavor. Is it entertainment? Is it sports? They are excelling there. If the right leadership is in place, the youths have all it takes to take position. But the question is, are those things available? Many things are not in place. So before we begin to talk about whether they have the capacity, let me answer that question straight on. They have the capacity to take charge. But what is the motivation that would drive them towards what exactly they need to take position. Those ingredients are not there, and that's what we should begin to address. So if you are talking of leadership in a state, for instance, and let's go to education. I remember when Professor Obatunde Fafunwa was Minister for Education in Nigeria, he brought about one policy. He called it 6334 System of Education. Many people don't even know the meaning of that policy. What does that policy say? The policy says 6 years in primary school, 3 years in that time it was classes 1 to 5, straight on. But Professor Fafunwa brought that policy to say you spend 6 years in primary school, 3 years in junior secondary school, 3 years in senior secondary school before you begin to look for admission to the university or polytechnic or what have you. The idea behind it was after your 3 years as a junior secondary student, you have a choice to decide whether you want to go on vocation. That was the whole essence of that idea, of that policy. But what has happened to it? It has been jettisoned. Many students that struggle to be in the university do not have the capacity to be there. It is not everybody that must be a university student. That is not what obtains in other parts of the world. We have relegated technical education. I'm advocating that we should visit technical education. It is not everybody that must be. I have many friends who are not university graduates. They are doing pretty well, much better than their friends who are even university graduates. We're not saying education should be relegated. No. We need university education, we need polytechnic education, but we need to begin to look. A lot of times we make mistakes to even define who are these youths. We restrict our definition of the youth to the educated and the informed ones. Those who drop out constitute the majority of the youth we are talking about. Somebody that got to SS3 or SS2 and dropped out of school. What is going to happen to him? They are the greater majority. Let me recall, during the NSAS in 2020, what happened then? Who are those who started NSAS? Those who know what to look out for in leadership. They know what they were agitating for. The first 1-2 weeks was well organized. It was in Lekki in Lagos. I passed through that place every day. Everything was organized. Those guys, when it was time for prayer on Friday, whether Christian or Muslim, they will gather together, they will ring fence the Muslims, they will pray. On Sunday, there will be services going on at various points at that spot. What happened afterwards? It was those uninformed youths, the ones we usually overlook, that aborted that struggle and made a mess of it. So when we are talking of youths, let's not restrict our definition of youths to only the educated youths. All those dropouts, they are part of that. They are in greater majority. They can make up, and many times they are mad. So if we are looking at the youth that will make a difference, we need to begin to look at our system of education. It is lopsided. Many people that struggle, a lot of graduates today are not employable. I interviewed some of them. They speak very bad English. They don't have any vision for the future. They don't even know what they are looking for. Many of them would graduate from a junior secondary school and go to learn a trade or a vocation. It could be tailoring, it could be wood making. When we were in the secondary school, we had technical departments. We have home economic section where ladies who choose to go into catering will learn that vocation. And as they are coming out of school, they already have a skill that can put food on their table. They will begin to contribute to GDP. But now, because if you are not a graduate, nobody reckons to be in the society. Everybody struggles to go to university. They come out of university, where are the jobs? The jobs are not there. But you have a lot of secondary school graduates who did not bother to go to university, but they go to learn mechanic work, they go to learn welding, furniture making, upholstery, and they are making something good with their lives. They are contributing. They are able to raise their family. You'll be surprised that many graduates are depending on their colleagues, their friends, who are not university graduates because there is no job for them. So we need to begin to look at what would inform a youth to know what to challenge a leader for. If I don't know what to get from you, whatever you give to me, I take, and I will even say thank you. That is what we are seeing today. The leaders serve the populace with what they think the populace needs, not exactly what the populace needs. But an informed and educated populace will be able to demand from that leader what he or she thinks should be the norm.
Okay, thank you. You talked about technical education, and here in Ekiti State, the government of Dr. Kayode Fayemi has actually spent a lot on technical education, revived it, and a lot of enrollment had been done. And going by what the chairman of the board, Honorable Babade, told us while he was on our program, he said before the advent of the administration, the total number of students in all about 3-4 technical colleges in Ekiti then was about just not up to 200, but now it has increased to over 1,000. So do you think the government is in the right direction towards addressing the gap?
Thank you so very much. I love this. There was one seminar I attended. It was organized by the Diaspora Desk of the Ekiti government. I must say kudos to the Ekiti government of Dr. Fayemi for that initiative. I never knew that was happening. But let me say here that the Ministry of Information in Ekiti State they have more to do in terms of disseminating information to the populace. Many people are not aware. I saw that online then, and I registered. I was part of that seminar, and I challenged the Commissioner for Education when she made her presentation.
Hello?
And they showed some beautiful pictures. I was thrilled because I was there for the first time. Though I don't live in Ekiti, but I can bet that there are many more like me who even reside in Ekiti who are not aware. There is more to be done in that regard. Technical education is the way to go. When the advanced societies, the informal sector, they contribute more even to the GDP. The SMEs, they are the ones that drive the economy. So that initiative by the governor of Dr. Fayemi is something I believe the incoming government of Mr. Oyebanji should look into. But I'm saying there needs to be more awareness in that regard. Many people are not aware. If people are aware, if we use jingles on your station now, on radio stations, to let people know, to let the parents know that these institutions exist. Many parents that struggle to look for money to sponsor their children in university might look at that option. They are part of the society and they even contribute more. What drives the economy in the advanced world are not only university graduates. I deal with a lot of Chinese as my customers in Lagos. Many of them never touch the four walls of the university. And the entrepreneurs, the industrialists, you marvel when you get to their factories and you see what they are making with their money. They bring money from China, they bring it in here. They're even able to access bank loans from everywhere because the fundamentals the banks are looking for are in place. I interact with most of them. They are not university graduates. So as we dignify university education in Nigeria, as we dignify polytechnic education, we need to also amplify the system around technical education. So for the state government, I would say kudos to the government of Fayemi, but there is more to do in terms of awareness. Many people are not aware of what you are talking about. I got to know because I said I attended that seminar. I don't reside in Ekiti. Many like me do not reside in Ekiti. And it's not only those in Ekiti that will take advantage of those opportunities. So the state government needs to do more to let people be aware of what is on ground so that people can have choices, whether you want to go to university or you even have many people in the days of old that were graduates of technical colleges. They still go ahead to have their university education to add a degree to what they have. But the difference is that as a university graduate who only qualifies on paper, when he's looking around, dusting his CV looking for a job, that other person that started from technical colleges or polytechnic, background, that has practical experiences, is not necessarily looking for a job. He's an employer of labor because he knows what to do with his hands. So we need more to do to make people aware so that we can begin to redirect the orientation of people as to what to look out for to be a productive Nigerian.
All right, let's now talk about overpopulation in Nigeria, because year in, year out, the universities, either private or public, they turn out thousands of graduates. And even as we speak now, the NYC scheme, you have batch A, stream 1, stream 2, batch B, stream 1, and on like that. And yet, there are no jobs out there. So what do you think government can really do? Do you kind of, or will you propose a kind of family planning or family size like Babangida suggested and tried to implement when he was in power, so that our population could be checked, the trend, the growth?
You can see me smiling. The question would be, when President Babangida brought about that policy, what happened to it? Did it succeed? You know, it is difficult in Nigeria because of cultural differences. In the South, you can say that, but it even negates the ideas of some religions. So if you go to the North, for instance, and you say you want to control population, somebody will be asking you, are you all right? So I believe proper education is what we need to do. As an individual, if I am informed, and I believe I am, I know that I will not bring up children that I do not care to nurture, because I know they are going to be a burden on me and a burden on the society. But is that what you have in other parts of the country? The answer is no. In some other locations, they don't care. You just give birth to your child, throw that child on the street. You know, it's not your business how that child fits. And it goes around with plastic bowls, looking for where to feed, looking for one a big man to kill and have his food. That's the orientation. Culturally, it's okay by them because that is what they are brought up to believe. But if those children are put in school, education enlightens a lot. It will open up your mind to know that it is not even dignifying for you as a human being to wake up in the morning and you don't even know what to feed on. So I believe what we need to emphasize more is how to empower the people, the youths, the children as they are growing up, how to empower them with the right education to know what to look out for in life. If you are informed, you know that if it is two children you are able to bring up and rear and make them to be contributors to the society, you bring them up and you are able to, within your income, you are able to nurture them to relevance, and they are not a burden on you. They are not only contributing to you as a parent, they are only contributing to other people in society. But if you bring up a child who doesn't know what to look out for in life, it is difficult for us to begin to enforce family planning. We had that policy before. Did it succeed? The answer is no. Our population is still blooming. Over today, we don't even know how many we are, well as we do the census. So culturally, I believe it's going to be a difficult one for us to implement as a country. Maybe in some parts of Nigeria, education is let's look at it in the southwest. You have very few people who are having children that they are not able to cater for. Very few. I'm not saying there are no exceptions. But in some other parts, it's not like that. So if you are talking of Nigeria as a country, I don't believe that family planning can work. It works in other places. In China, there was a time they said you cannot give birth to more than either one or two children. But here, because of our cultural and religious differences, I doubt if that policy can work. But I say again, education and proper education, and getting it right, looking at our curriculum, not emphasizing only university education to ensure that everything comes across and everybody is able to contribute to the society. That's what I advocate.
Okay, before we allow you go this morning, what message you have to the Timmy youths out there?
Well, the message I have to the Timmy youths is to get involved. You know, if we are talking of leadership, it's not only political. That's one mistake people make sometimes. We look at leaders as only those who are in political offices. I say no. Everybody's a leader in his right. If you are the leader, if you are controlling a small team in your church, they call you the team lead, the head of department. You are a leader in that regard. So our youth should take charge by not only looking at those who are in political offices as the leaders. In your own area of influence, what are you influencing? If you believe that you are part of the society, if you get it right, if you are not a late comer, you call yourself a leader in your own little corner, and every day you come late to work, and you are saying that things are not right in Nigeria, they make you the treasurer of your town's association, amongst your kingsmen. And when it is time for you to give account, you are not able to account for the money, and you say that one governor somewhere is embezzling money. You don't have that moral right. So if we begin to drill down to the society, for us to look at our environment, in what way can you influence the people under you? When the family unit is well informed, when we go to the larger society, then we can begin to talk of government. So my message to the youth is that we talk of leadership as a problem of today. It was because of what we did not do yesterday or what we did wrongly yesterday. If you want to get leadership right tomorrow, you should begin to look at those who will become leaders tomorrow, today. Because these leaders will not come from heaven. They will still emerge from the present followers we have. So like I said earlier, leadership is the problem of today, but followership is the problem of today and tomorrow put together. So if you want to get leadership right tomorrow, the time to start is now, to begin to look at those followers who will become leaders tomorrow by ensuring that they have the right orientation and all of us can have a tomorrow that we can all be proud of.
Okay, thank you, Mr. AKIN OLUWADARE Jr., for your time on Daybreak Nigeria.
It's my pleasure. It's my great pleasure. Thank you so much. And good morning once again, my fellow Ekiti people. It's nice to speak with you this morning, and it's good to be home. Let me put it that way. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Daybreak Nigeria continues after this time out with a short, a focus on agriculture, a special one. Please stay tuned.
Daybreak Nigeria from EKTV, in the heartbeat of the Southwest. We break your day on EKTV Daybreak Nigeria with inclusive information, news without prejudice, well-articulated reportage, in-depth news analysis, newspaper highlights, business news, sports. Watch EKTV Daybreak Nigeria from 8 to 10 in the morning, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. EKTV Daybreak Nigeria, your agenda-setting program.